Hello friend and welcome to BorgcasTAS Animated Series 2.4?
2.4.
2.4, hooray.
Unless we lost count. Yes.
Yeah, well, I do a lot. Anyway, with Anne-Marie and Peter and Layla.
Huzzah! And tonight we are covering...
Albatros!
Yeah, so I hadn't worked out why it was called this.
No.
There are no seabirds to be seen. Well, it's a reference to the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, because apparently the crewman shoots one of the seabirds whom his crewmates thought brought good luck, and then they make him wear the dead bird around his neck. So it represents a bird and you can't escape. And apparently...
a millstone around your neck kind
that
of
sort of thing, and that's what McCoy's got. Apparently. Yeah. It's certainly not obvious, so my sister had to do a Google.
Okay.
Written by Dario Finelli, his only episode. And to be honest, one of only two things he wrote as well.
Oh.
He also wrote the 1970s exploitation film Scorpio 70, about three couples carrying on erotic adventures on board a pleasure cruising yacht.
Okay.
Something of a contrast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe that had an albatross in it, though.
Oh, I hate to think what they were doing with it.
No.
You are hereby directed to surrender for trial by the people of Dramia, Dr. Leonard McCoy, Medical Officer, USS Enterprise. This is some kind of joke?
The wanton slaughter of hundreds of people is not a joke, Captain.
Slaughter? Hundreds of people.
According to this, Dr. McCoy was responsible for a plague which ravaged the planet Dramia 2 some 19 years ago, Captain.
Let me see that.
As you will note, Captain, the warrant is perfectly in order, approved by your own Federation.
As nearly all of these things, you start with a captain's log, and Kirk says they're preparing to beam aboard following a successful delivery of medical supplies, which is unusual, because normally they're trying to deliver them, and then you get the clock ticking, all the rest of it. Anyway. Yeah. And they're hoping that the delivery of medical aid will help strengthen relationship between the Dramians,
yes.
or whatever, and the Federation. And the Dramians, well, they're sort of yellowy. I quite like the look of them. They do look properly alien.
They certainly look alien, yes.
But the boots make them look like their trousers have fallen down.
Yeah, and their faces are pretty goofy, and I think they look a bit like Frenchies.
Yes, I thought that.
Particularly the one with the big ears.
Yeah, the Lila aliens.
Yes. One of them that keeps reoccurring is called Demos, and he's voiced by Lou Schieber again. But the principal...
prefect
principal, I don't know what it was, something like that. Anyway, you can guess who voiced him.
Presumably Doohan.
Yep.
Anyway, they have a warrant for McCoy's arrest for the wanton slaughter of thousands of people on Dramia 2 19 years ago.
Yeah, which contradicts the writer's Bible, which said that he only joined Starfleet in his middle age. It's not really an issue, because I'm not sure that fact is ever mentioned elsewhere in the series, so they've established it as continuity now, so
okay,
not a problem. Dramia, by the way, looks really good, I thought.
Yes.
Very colourful buildings.
Yes, and it's contrasted well later on with Dramia
2, which is very grey, yes.
Yeah. The warrant is legit. It's been approved by the Federation, so although Scotty offers to beam down and help, it's like, no, we need to...
Buy the book.
And what they say is that McCoy was delivering a vaccination program, and that program led to a plague. McCoy is concerned because he said, what if I did so inadvertently? So he wouldn't have done it deliberately, but he's concerned that maybe he did inadvertently cause it. And so he wants to have the trial, and he wants to have the facts established. However, Kirk and Spock say they're going to go off and investigate. But the bloke, now, is he the Supreme Prefect, or is he just a jailer, or is that Demos? I can't quite tell who it is standing in front of the prison.
No, that's completely different, Dramian.
So, Dramian Guard, then?
Yes.
Right. Well, the Dramian Guard says that Dramian justice is too swift for their investigation. The plague in question involved a pigmentation change. People turned blue and then green and then red and died. Vulcans apparently have an immunity to it. Having discovered that the Enterprise is going off to investigate the Dramians, prepare a patrol ship. The Enterprise by now is out of range of any kind of subspace communication with Starfleet, so they're proceeding under Kirk's orders. And they spot a ship nearby, Dramian ship. So Kirk says they probably just want to sneak aboard. It's a shame we left our hangar doors open. And they all sort of look at him and say, oh yes, do action that, leave the hangar doors open.
So the Dramian ship, what did you think of the design?
I didn't really like it.
It's very boxy, isn't it? And although I do like the fact it has kind of like the same face as the Dramians.
Yeah.
Making it feel a bit like sort of Thomas the Tank Engine, basically.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Deimos comes aboard, tries to threaten Kirk and Spock with a phaser, but Kirk's like, you really going to take on the whole ship? And he's like, I demand that you speak to the Federation. And Kirk's like, we're out of range. He's like, right, I'm going to go and report you at the nearest star base, at which point Kirk's like, yeah, you're a stowaway. Your ship's been impounded. And then they notice the aurora in the sector, which is intense but non-lethal radiation. Then they land on the planet, and Deimos says they do not like outsiders and refers to them as the Walking Dead. And then this bloke appears and they try and chase him. I don't know why they don't stun him. Anyway, they sort of always disappeared, but he's gone into a cave. Deimos advises against entering, but Kirk's like, McCoy's life's on the line. And so they sort of come across cave dwellers, and then there's a really pathetic sort of... And somebody jumps on them.
Dramian, yes.
Yeah, and it's just sort of, what? And then you get, how did he survive the plague? And the answer is no, he didn't. What happened was these people were away and they came back and found their families dead, and they all went senseless and went into caves. Because that's what you do, you see. If you're driven mad with grief, you go into a cave, apparently. And Deimos says there are no survivors, so then a bloke says, I'm not, or whatever.
Yes, I'm not dead.
There will now be a short intermission.
Overhead, the Albatros hangs motionless upon the air, and deep beneath the rolling waves, in labyrinths of coral caves, the echo of a distant tide comes willowing across the sand, and everything is green as submarine.
It is Coltai, again voiced by you-know-who says he did indeed survive the plague, which apparently made Dramian's skin colour change colour. He remembers McCoy saving his life, so challenges Deimos' account. All four beam up to the Enterprise. For some reason, Coltai brings his half-shadow that covers his face with him. So it made sense if he was in the cave, because obviously, shadows and stuff. But then everybody else is in the brightness of the transporter room, but he's still got half his shadow on him. They've just reused the animation. Cheapo. Kirk introduces him as a friend of Dr. McCoy's to Scotty, who does the same gormless grin that Kirk did earlier. They fly through the radiation again, and they really should have worked things out at this point, but no. And they do it very slowly as well for purposes of padding. This makes Coltai turn blue, seemingly with a plague. Then Kirk turns blue, and it isn't another mistake by the colorist for a change. Soon the whole ship, minus Spock, are members of the Blue Man Group, and the Vulcan has to take command, making a captain's log and everything. He activates General Order 6, which I don't think we've heard before or ever will again.
No.
Which means that if all the crew have died in 24 hours, the ship will self-destruct. But why does he do that when he knows he's immune? I mean, he's going to be there.
I think it's in case something happens to him.
All right.
He's got to be certain that this ship is not going to go and affect other people. So it'll only take effect if something happens to him.
Yes.
So it might not be needed. But it makes sense having something like that as a quarantine protocol.
Vulcan then asks the Dramian leader for McCoy's release in order for the Doctor to find a cure, but it's a no.
Which, I mean, I know we're told that Dramian justice is swift and it's all presented like it was all too much, but it kind of makes me think in a way of Cardassian justice and stuff. Other people do have justice systems that work differently, and even if it was our justice system, if somebody said, no, you have to release the prisoner in order, we would say no.
Probably, yes.
I don't think that's
unreasonable. Though.
No.
As Kirk turns green, Spock beams down and rescues Bones. McCoy refuses to leave until he finds out about the plague rampant on the ship. Then, back on the Enterprise, he's bossing Spock about to get results. It's nice character stuff, though. On his deathbed, Kirk realises it's the Aurora that's causing the colour change, because Kirk has to save the day. Spock then realises Coltai was immune to the plague because he had the Saurian virus, which McCoy treated. So everybody gets a dose of the virus and is healed, and now it's Coltai's turn to do a gormless grin. The Dramians thank McCoy for finding a cure, who graciously includes Spock and Kirk. And it wouldn't be an episode of the animated series without the colorists making a genuine mistake, so in the transporter room we get Bones in a gold uniform. Hooray! Spock needles McCoy about not keeping up the crew's vitamin rations.
And I'm ready to get back to some of that monotonous old routine sickbay work.
Including, I would hope, some of that monotonous old dispensing of the regular vitamin rations to the crew.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, you have been derelict in your duties of late, Doctor.
Spock, you know as well as I do what we've all just been through.
Hippocrates would not have approved of lame excuses, Doctor.
Why, that... Jim, if I'm ever in jail again, don't send that Vulcan to release me. Just let me rot.
It's got to be one of the classiest closing jokes in Trek. Well, the Shatner's laughter is appalling.
And it's just not funny.
It's not that funny, no. It's more clever than funny. But yeah. So, my dear, cannonballs or Spock's balls?
Rock on, Tommy, you'll do for me.
His brain is gone.
I like this. I think this is... I can't see a reason why it isn't canon.
No, I don't think so.
And I really enjoy it. The aliens are properly alien, and I like it when the animated series does something like that. And it all makes sense as an idea. I think it's a good story.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it as an episode. I think the only thing I didn't like, apart from the terrible joke in inverted commas at the end, was the fact that those boots that some of the Dramians wearing did make it look as though their trousers had fallen down.
Oh, nice.
But no, I'd say canon.
And quite the whiplash from the last story, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of quality, but there we are.
What about you? Do you think it's canon?
Oh, yes, definitely. I really enjoyed it. And I was quite happy to watch it again not long after as well. Unlike the previous one, I was barely watching it the second time. It was just silly. Anyway, let's find out if the people thought this was good as well. We hear from the Llama God.
Logs, good day, fix this year. Oh, correct. It was not me, it was the one-armed Cloud. Now, the question we usually ask when we look at episodes of Star Trek that are animated is, does this episode, the story and the settings and everything, does it make the most of the fact that this is done in animation as opposed to live action? Now, with this episode, in terms of the aliens that we see, in terms of the Dranians, then yes, I guess it does. I mean, they're still kind of humanoid, and the shape of their head, that could easily be someone in a mask. It's certainly a more interesting and more complex build than Star Trek was doing for most of, at least late season 3, apart from that weird rock monster in the episode with Abraham Lincoln, you know the one that I mean. But apart from that, it was mostly just coloured foreheads and things like that, even worse than the typical bumpy forehead stuff Next Generation will become known for later. So yes, maybe some of that, especially the tentacles, couldn't be done outside of animation. Also, they visited a couple of different planets, and yeah, again, in live action, they would have done this with maybe some matte paintings, and especially the ruined planet that they visit, yeah, that could be a good matte painting, and then a really dodgy and unconvincing studio set. So I think, generally speaking, yes, it makes the most of animation in terms of that. But where this episode really loses out from being animated is in terms of the acting. I think this episode really would have benefited from being a live action episode. I know this has been mentioned before, the fact that sometimes the actors feel like they're phoning it in, but this episode especially really loses out from it not being live acting, and for the actors really not sounding particularly dynamic. The actual story itself is pretty solid, although it's a bit of a weird stuff where they let Starfleet help them and then suddenly say, oh, by the way, we're going to arrest one of your crew. That's just a bit of an odd move for the Dranians there, but never mind. Moving onwards. The idea of McCoy being wrongly convicted for inadvertently wiping out a lot of the population, yeah, well, that's a decent, interesting storyline, and indeed it's weirdly timely relevant. It would have been more relevant a couple of years ago from the point of view of people jumping to the wrong conclusions about where a deadly virus might have come from. Yeah, anyone remember that? Anyway, but what makes this episode not really work particularly well for animation is the fact we really needed to see McCoy McCoy's pain and the dilemma and all the soul-searching that he would have done as to whether he could have actually done that kind of level of damage. This is the kind of thing that I think DeForest Kelley would have done wonderfully if this had been live action, and the dynamic between him and Shatner and Nimoy, as they tried to figure it out, would have been great. But the fact they're all recording it separately, I think they're in their own little phone booths, just makes the whole thing seem rather flat. There's no actual drama behind the idea that McCoy could have inadvertently caused so many deaths. I mean, yes, we know he's probably innocent of that, but still, there should have been a bit of soul-searching there. There should have been something to have seen, and I think that works just so much better in live acting. And also, we'd have got more out of Kirk and Spock's reaction. Here, they don't seem particularly fussed about it. It's like, yeah, it's not particularly great. I mean, admittedly, doing the makeup effects later on when the crew come down with the weird colour-changing virus, I mean, to be fair, that was done cheaply here because they can just change the colours of the animation cells, and they could have probably done something with filters and the TV series live action. But yeah, anyway, there needed to be a live action episode, I think. It really did. I'm also like the idea of Spock beaming down to break McCoy out from his prison, because that's exactly what needs to be done at that moment so McCoy can save the day. Again, it feels kind of flat, and I'd have loved to have seen the two playing off against each other in live action. That would have been much better. As I say, though, the story is kind of solid. I like the idea that they introduced the whole idea of the Enterprise self-destructing if the crew are incapacitated for too long to prevent the spread of the virus. I think we hear that later. I don't know if we've heard this one before, but it's a nice little idea there. It's a nice little safety that would have prevented a lot of other future Star Trek episodes happening if they did this consistently. Aside from the fact this isn't live action, the only real weak spot of the episode is the fact that McCoy is looking for a solution to the virus in sickbay, which just happens to have Kirk lying on the bed next to him so that Kirk can wake up long enough to solve the whole episode. Again, that's very Season 3 Star Trek, isn't it? So when it comes to the question of whether this is canon or balls, I mean, it's canon because Kirk saves the day, or at least Kirk is the one to have the idea to save the day. That is pretty much late Star Trek as you can get, really. So yeah, it's canon. Not necessarily good. I'd say this episode's pretty weak, actually, like I say, because you don't get the drama, the emotion from the characters. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's still canon. It's still canon because this sounds like something could and should have happened. So yeah. But as ever, I'll be interested to find out what other people make of this episode. I hope that nobody's feeling too blue with the end of the holidays approaching. Yeah, too blue. Yeah, get it? Get it? Yeah, anyway. And until next time, glory to you and your cast.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I see what you mean about how DeForest Kelley could have made something of this, and you're right.
I thought he was fine. I mean, yes, you're right. If it was live action, he would have put a bit more into it. I mean, the real problem with this one is Shatner, as per usual, is literally phoning it in, and it's terrible.
But also the focus is on Shatner and Spock. The focus isn't on McCoy. So
yeah, he's not on screen much.
No, so
it would require a degree of rewriting as well as live actioning.
Yeah, it would have done in order to give him the room to explore, what he might have done.
Yeah, and you can imagine if it was, because obviously original series episodes are longer, we would have cut back to McCoy from time to time, I suspect. So just to add to the drama.
But I could imagine the aliens looking terrible.
Yeah, no, that would not have worked. I mean, by the time of Deep Space Nine, there's quite some Ferengi heads, aren't they? So I suspect they could have pulled it off then, as he mentions, probably except for the tentacles, unless they CGI'd it. But yeah, ultimately, I think they lend themselves more to animation.
Yeah. So you would have had the plot with different aliens, I think. A more human-looking species, and then the plot would have worked as a live-action episode. But I like the fact that these are really aliens, if you see what I mean, because it makes it more believable that McCoy might have inadvertently caused a problem because they are sufficiently different.
Yeah.
Whereas if you make them look too humanoid, then it's harder to think that he would have inadvertently done something.
Been
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
We hear also from Purry.
Hello, Args. Parry here from our home office cabin. I'm hiding in here with the cat from the dog that still wants to chew stuff. And just in general, someone who goes absolutely berserk. Puppy zoomies, I'm guessing, so me and the cat are hiding. But I'm here to talk about Albatros and see if we answer the question, do you get bloody wafers with it? The question goes unanswered, spoilers for everyone. At no point do we find out why we don't get wafers with it, or indeed why the episode's called Albatros. This one's weird, because this one could be a TOS episode, aside from the fact that they got some proper alien-looking aliens. You could have done this with, the standard bunch of extras with slightly racist amounts of fake tan or some makeup, or some bits of faux fur sellotaped to their groins or something, all the stuff that we've seen in TOS. And the idea of the race that, once they've finished delivering or helping out with medical supplies, then go, oh, by the way, we'd like to arrest McCoy for murder. They didn't do that when they turned up. They waited for them to do the whole medical bit. Smart guys, it's not the most. And this is where it kind of goes, because initially I thought, are we getting a court case, or are we getting some sort of dark mystery that they're trying to blame McCoy for something else they did? Because the thing of, you'll find our justice is very swift and all that. And when they sent a guy out, when they were going off to check the planet which had the plague, I thought, they're going to try and cover up something. I thought, this is where we're going. It's a cover-up that they're trying to pin on McCoy, and, you'll have a trial going on one side, and Kirk or actually, we probably wouldn't have the trial because it's only a short episode. Again, in 25 minutes, you're limited. So now just had Kirk and Co coming back going, aha, we found out it was you, head blokiness. But it wasn't that. Because then they get the plague, and McCoy has to work out the cure for the plague. I did like the order that if everyone in the ship has a plague, basically you self-destruct it, stop it spreading. I thought that was actually a nice touch. But yeah, it almost seems like sort of 3 episode ideas, and 3 generic episode ideas, 3 bog standard TOS episode ideas sort of taped together. And yeah, I did kind of find it didn't really do a satisfactory job of any of them, of either, we didn't get a courtroom at all, which I suppose is a blessing, they're not always the most exciting. We didn't really get much of the espionage, because we just got the world's dimmest alien who was flying along, to try and board the Enterprise somehow, and then saw the shuttle bay open and thought, oh, that's convenient, the shuttle bay is opened for no reason, I'll go on there, and then was surprised when the whole crew turned up to basically arrest him. And that's where I thought, oh yeah, they're hiding something, but no, they weren't. There was nothing being hidden. And yeah, I've got to admit it, I tuned out a lot on this one. It's technically canon. There's nothing in this that would break canon at all, but as episodes go, this one was pretty dull. Nothing really exciting happened aside from people changed colour and passed out a lot. And like I say, it felt like people kept changing the mind of what the episode was to be, and so we never really got anything coherent or solid, which, when you can't when you try to sellotape 3 episodes together to fill out 25 minutes, you're really struggling there. So yeah, not particularly good episodes. So all that remains for me to say is do keep up the good work. I also look forward to the podcast, and I hope to be back in the next one. But until then, for me and the cat who's not saying anything, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, somebody else who wasn't such a fan of it then.
No, we liked it though.
Yeah, it was fine enough.
Yeah, you're right that the pilot is absolutely thick as shit.
Demos, yeah, is an idiot.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, shut up, my door is open. Oh. I can sneak in. I like the idea of groinal fur as well. If they were doing it live action, that's, that would definitely have been a thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, they can't all be as thick as that pilot because they had the sense to get the meds first before serving the Westworld.
Yes, that's a degree of cunningness about that, isn't there?
Yes.
Oh, well, perhaps you'll enjoy the next episode more. It's How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth, which is a very original series title.
Shakespeare?
Yeah, it does sound a bit like that, doesn't it? I'll have to do a Google on that one, I guess. And that's on the 20th of August. Yep. On Thursday the 13th, we're covering the Babylon 5 episode, Soulmates. All I'm saying is, Timov.
Oh, that one.
Yes. So we're looking forward to that one.
Oh, yeah.
But until the next time, we're talking into your Frenchy-like ears. Take care. Cheery bye.
Bye-bye.
Theme for Star Trek The Animated Series was written by Ray Ellis and Norm Prescott.
Any music used in this podcast is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at borgcast.libsyn.com.
We have a Facebook group, which you're welcome to join.
Send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Find us on Blue Sky at broadcastammo.bsky.social
and revorg.bsky.social.
Shut it down! Albatros! Albatros! Albatros!
2 chalk ices, please.
I haven't got chalk ices! I only got the Albatros! Albatros!
What flavour is it?
It's a bird, isn't it? It's a bloody seabird. It's not any bloody flavour. Albatros!
You get wafers with it?
Of course you don't get bloody wafers with it!